Hi, how are you today? The improved package has arrived. We're having it fitted in time for FP1. Have a look at the factory report.
What's up guys, and welcome back to my F1 2017 career mode, and we are here for the start of season number 6 and now into the sort of second half of this 10 season career mode now, with 5 more seasons to go, and I do aim to get all 10 of them done. But first things first guys, a big disclaimer for this season. This particular whole entire season 6, at least for the first half, it's going to be very, very limited. I've mentioned this before, and I mentioned it in the finale. There will be pretty much a career mode every other day. So about 3 or 4 a week I'm aiming for at the moment, and that's going to be the case for the next 4 weeks. So going into the second half of the season, things will speed up again, and I'll hopefully get back into the daily uploads. But for now, I'm in a very serious point in my life in terms of exams, and also I will make another video. I'm aiming to actually make a series about this at some point soon. So hopefully you guys will look forward to that. But anyway, back on track with the action here for Australia. And as you saw, all the upgrades have been applied to the car, but as you saw on the screen just a moment ago, in terms of the R&D, we haven't really taken that much of a major step forward. We've overtaken Renault quite comfortably, but we haven't really closed the gap to Red Bull as much as I would have liked. So the challenge this season has definitely got a bit more of an upward climb than what I actually expected it to be and what I wanted it to be. So we're going to have to work very hard to put the resource points away and really try and crack on towards getting the objective and really trying to improve and getting towards being a top 3 team or top 4 team in this sport. So a big push is going to be in this first half of the season to really improve, and we are now the first driver, so we are going to get a big R&D points boost per race weekend. So hopefully that works out for us. But as you can see in the background, practice programs going on, and we've scored purple in absolutely everything. So overall, very good start to the season and a great start to the race weekend. But then we move into Saturday, where the rain made its presence felt, and there was full wet conditions for the first part of qualifying. As you can see, debuting there, brand new skin on the car, and also a brand new helmet for the season. But as you can see, first lap in the full wet conditions, not going particularly great, and a little bit sideways for the chicane there, and just sort of struggling to get a feel for the car. I've said before, this Williams in the wet does not really perform great, but we do manage to get a good lap in there, and we go P4, so not too bad, and that's going to see us through into the second part of qualifying. Felipe Massa just edging me there in P11, with Sebastian Vettel leading the way for Ferrari. But we're now going to move into Q2, where the rain did drop a little bit, and we moved over to the intermediate compound tyres, and these definitely suited the car a little bit better than the full wets, and I was able to push a little bit more on these. And as you can see, actually purple for the middle sector there, only a couple of tenths shy of Sebastian Vettel, but the final sector is where I lose most of my time. So have I been able to limit the damage? And the answer is not too bad actually. P5, a few tenths off Sebastian Vettel, but a pretty good lap there, and it's actually going to see us through quite comfortably into the final part of qualifying. P6, and Massa just misses out, finishing in P11 there. So we're going to get through to the final part of qualifying for the first time this season, and Q3 was very interesting because it was wet all the way through, even up until the very end, and I left it right to the very last minute in qualifying to go out, and I actually decided to go out and risk my luck on Ultra Softs. Now I am going to use standard mix for this lap. I don't want to use rich or max because it's going to spin the rear tyres up a lot, and also I get a good chance of saving the engine. But as you can see now, midway through my outlap, DRS does get enabled, so we've timed this to absolute perfection, and now getting on to our actual lap itself. And the track does seem to be a little bit dry, so hopefully we can get a lap together. So we're going to turn off for the first time. We find a little bit of grip here. You've got to be careful, but there is a bit of grip on the track. So the first sector, as you can see, 8 tenths up. So far, so good as we go fastest. And obviously the question is, has anybody else rolled the dice with me onto the dry tyres? So far, it doesn't look like it, so we could be quite comfortably out front by ourselves. But then Perez clocks in a fastest lap on the Ultra Soft, so he's the first man to actually bite the bullet and go into those tyres. So we've got a reference time now on the dry tyres, and into the second sector split we are 8 tenths up on the Mexican, so we are still looking pretty good here, and we're going to ride on board for the final part of the lap now through the final corner, and a little bit of a pretty good traction, a little bit of a shaky rear end, but nonetheless DRS wide open now, and across the line. How have we done? It's pole position, I think, for the Australian Grand Prix, and yes it is pole position for the first qualifying session of season 6. Absolutely phenomenal result, and you can see on the background now, we actually got it quite comfortably by 1.5 seconds. So really good qualifying there. Perez is going to join me on the front row with Lewis Hamilton in third and Nico Hülkenberg in P4 for Renault there. So we've got a bit of a buffer there with Perez, Hamilton and Hülkenberg keeping the Ferraris at bay. Sebastian Vettel only manages P5, but the best of the intermediate runners. And Kimi Raikkonen way down in P9 there. And overall bit of a mixed-up grid. So hopefully that'll make for a pretty interesting race tomorrow. But luckily we are going to have the benefit of the clean racing line and the first place. So I'm looking forward to the race tomorrow, and hopefully we can convert this pole position into a good first result of Season 6. So without further ado, let's jump straight into the race for the first round of Season 6 in this career mode. Right then, here we are on the grid in P1 for the first race of Season 6, and after a pretty interesting qualifying, an unexpected pole position has arrived, and we're going to have the privilege and the benefit of starting the first race of the season from the very front of the grid, and I'm very much looking forward to it, and I'm very much hoping to take full advantage of this opportunity to try and put it to good use. I know Australia is a track that is hard to overtake around. Realistically, if you don't pass on the 2 DRS zones, then you're pretty safe, so I'm confident now straight line speed, so therefore I think we should be okay in straight line speed situations, and DRS shouldn't be too much of a factor unless it's maybe a Mercedes or a Force India trying to overtake me over a Ferrari, but I feel pretty good I can defend against them. So overall I'm looking to go into this race, and I'm actually going to try and win this one. I think the objective is to win it. I've got to try and do my best. The car, as you would have seen, isn't particularly incredibly improved from Season 5, but I'm just hoping that those improvements that I have added to the car just help us actually manage to get the job done. And I wouldn't be disappointed if we didn't win the race, but realistically I really do want to win it. But in terms of our race strategy for today, as you can see, we are going to start the race on the middle compound tyre, which is the super soft, and then switch to the hardest compound available, which is the soft compound tyre. So super softs and softs for today's race. No chance of rain, but it's going to get a little bit overcast towards the end of the Grand Prix. And also fuel-wise, we are half a lap light on fuel to try and be nice and aggressive at the start and have a little bit of good pace early on. I'm hoping to be leading into turn 1 and also into turn 3. And then also, once that's done, I can then control the pace of the race. And I've got no one in front of me, no dirty air, so I can just try and push as hard as I can and also try and make these tyres last as long as possible. So hopefully the race goes well for us today, and fingers crossed it all works out alright. So without further ado, let's jump straight into the race for the first race of Season 6 in this career mode. Right then, here we go. We're going to get ready for the 5 red lights for the Australian Grand Prix. And we're away for the first race in Australia, and it's a pretty okay start. Nothing spectacular, but Perez is off to an absolute flyer, and we've got Hülkenberg behind on softs. We're going to try and go around the outside of Sergio Perez here and hold on to our lead. We beautifully managed to sort of feed our car around the outside of the Mexican, and now we've held on to our first place, and hopefully Perez is being attacked by Nico Hülkenberg. We're going to filter our car through into this sort of end of the first sector section, but so far we're in the lead, and now it's a question of seeing what our pace is like. Can we try and stretch the pack? Hülkenberg being in the top 4 is going to give us a chance to break away. My only threat this race is going to be both of the Force Indias, who are in 2nd and 3rd behind me, so those two might be trying to catch me. Everyone I can see is on super softs, so I'm guessing a lot of people are going to go for the same sort of strategy as me, switching over to the softs in the second stint. So realistically, this is even more important for us to keep track position, because strategy wise I don't think there's going to be a lot of variation in all of the cars. So let's try and set into this race, and let's try and open up a second gap to Sergio Perez if possible and try and break the DRS. Fastest lap, as you'd expect, beaten by Sergio Perez. Esteban Ocon is also catching up here. DRS now enabled, so Perez will be looking to make the move, but I think I'm pretty confident I'll keep Perez behind me here, because he's got a better pace, but it's not much better. I think I've got the overall race pace to comfortably keep him behind, unless I'm just get completely surprised, and Perez is actually pretty damn quick, but so far I haven't got that impression, so I think we can hold on to this quite comfortably. So far Sergio is keeping me honest, but to be honest I'm pretty comfortable holding on. I'm also trying to shift early just to make sure I don't use too much fuel, and also save the engine. I'm very conscious about the engine. Last season I was really tuned for the RC because I shifted very late, so various little just like conservation methods going on at the minute to just try and hold on to this lead. Like I said, we are under no major threat, and the only threats we have are the Force Indians, and Ocon still hasn't caught up, and I think Hülkenberg now has finally been overtaken by a couple of fast cars, but they're so far down the road that they're not really a worry at the moment. Like I said, the only thing to be concerned about is Perez, and so far he's not really attempted to make an overtake, so far it's all going pretty well for us. So far, based off of the mini-map, it is looking like it's going to be a 3-way fight for the race win between myself and both of the Force Indias. And I say both of the Force Indias, Ocon can't really catch up to me and Perez. It's just me and Perez who are really setting the pace up front here. And the only thing that might cost me in this battle is a tyre situation, because I know that Force India is one of the best cars, if not the best car on the grid for tyre wear. So Perez might have the legs later on towards the latter end of the stint. So that's something to keep in mind, and something I've got to watch my eye out for when I'm battling Perez. These tyres could be so much better than mine towards the end. So I'm sort of hoping, you know, I can sort of keep checking my tyres and also, you know, keep him at bay. But I do realise one mistake or one poor exit and his straight line speed combined with his tyre wear and good traction, and he's going to be on me. But right now, as you can see, there's my tyre situation with 8 laps in. We're looking pretty much bang on schedule for pit stop wise and strategy. So far it's all looking pretty good. I've just got to keep the car facing in the right direction. I can notice the tyres letting go a little bit, so I'm getting a few loose exits here and there, but so far they're still all very much under control. Okay, Raikkonen has been set free. He's currently in P4. He's the fastest man on the track. He just did a fastest lap last time round. I am now comfortably ahead of Perez. Like, he's no longer sort of sniffing around me in brake zones. I've actually managed to shake off the directional arrow, but DRS is unfortunately just keeping him in the fight. Otherwise, I think I would have shaken him off by now. Raikkonen is the man on the move though, and he's in P4, so he could ruin the party for all of us here. Right, into the final corner here, we're going to come in for our first and only stop of the race onto the soft compound tyres, and hopefully it's a nice quick stop, really pushing the pit entry there into lean mix. Now we're going to get it also down for the 60, and there we go, pretty good pit entry there. We're going to have, I think that's Sergio Perez coming in with us here, so it's got to be a perfect stop from the Williams boys, the best in the pit lane. Come on boys, perfect stop, there we go, 2.3, absolutely brilliant. And the Force India one's actually a little bit slow, and Perez is a bit slow to get away, but he's also on the soft compound tyres, so he's going to be on the same strategy as me. So it was crucial that we managed to come out ahead of him, because we're on the same strategy as him. So we're going to rejoin in clean air in P5, and Perez is going to rejoin just behind me, but it looks like we've managed to extend that gap a little bit to the Mexican here in the pit stop phase. So let's try and maintain that gap as long as we can. But like I said, now we've got to make sure Ocon doesn't overcut us, and also Raikkonen is a threat, so we've got to be very wary of that for the rest of the race. We've got a few cars in the pit lane in the form of Verstappen, Kimi Raikkonen, and also Esteban Ocon, all of them onto the soft compound tyres. So the strategies are all pretty much exactly the same in this race between all the top guns. So let's see how this all pans out. Bottas is going to be the wild card there in P1, who is currently on softs, but he's going to have to stop again, and I'm going to presume it's going to be for supers, so he'll be a little bit quicker at the end of the race. But we're back into pretty much a net race lead, so once again we've got to try and set some good pace and try and maintain the gap to Perez for as long as we can. Oh, virtual safety car deployed. Daniel Ricciardo out of his home race, so that came out of nowhere, but so far we just popped in a personal best at the last lap, so it's a little bit better. It's not spectacular, only a personal best by about a tenth, so we need to find some more pace here, because we are definitely not that quick on this tyre, so we need to try and find something. Okay, Valtteri Bottas comes into the pit lane for his one and only stop onto super softs, I'm going to presume. So that's going to officially release me back into the lead of the race. And the gap to Perez right now as it stands, as you can see on screen, 1.9. So that's the gap. Let's try and maintain that. Ocon is behind him, and then Raikkonen behind those two. So that's the situation. Let's try and win this race. Okay, a personal best. That's a little bit better now. A low 1 minute 24. 24 dead more like, and the gap has stayed exactly the same to Perez in that last lap. So if we keep this up, that's very good news for us, because Perez stays out of DRS. Oh, I think Perez might have retired from the race or had an issue. Yes, Perez out of the race. So something's going wrong on that Force India. That's going to buy me a massive gap of about 4 seconds to Esteban Ocon, his teammate, who is now in second place. But that does promote Raikkonen into third place. And I think once Raikkonen passes Ocon, I'm going to be pretty easy to catch, I think. So we need to keep pushing here, make these laps count before Raikkonen inevitably passes Esteban Ocon here. Oh, and now safety car's been deployed. Oh wow, is that for Perez? That is very interesting, and it's just sort of all dropping out of nowhere as I'm just settling in to go for another fast stint. We've had a safety car, so I'm going to stay on these tyres. I mean, I don't really think it's worth me coming in, so we're just going to basically soldier it out. The issue is we are going to lose our gap that we have of about 4 seconds, which is very disappointing. So all I can do really is just save fuel and have enough to basically run rich mix for the rest of the race. That's all I can do realistically. So we're just going to save up some fuel, get through the safety car period, and then once it gets back underway, just absolutely hammer it in rich mix and try and open up a gap before Raikkonen passes Ocon. Okay, the safety car is coming in this lap. All of a sudden it's just been decided that the safety car is coming in, so We're going to speed up here. We're on the limiter, but we are going to get away any second. And here we go, green flag. Not in the best position. I'm going to be under threat, I think, from Esteban Ocon here. I'm going to have to go defensive into turn 1, even though I'm in rich mix. Ocon will be a threat. I'm going to have to cover the inside line here. And there we go. We've just about held on. But now I've got to try and break away from the pack. Hopefully Raikkonen doesn't pass Ocon straight away. I don't think he will. But that safety car call to come in was very, very late. I was not expecting that one bit. But we are back underway here. And I've got to try and get back up to racing speed and settle back into the high speed of things. Back end just slipping at me there. Big mistake. And I've lost the lead. Not good. Back end just snapped out at me there. Yellow flag conditions. And we're getting passed by absolutely everybody here. And I've got grass on my tyres. And we've got a slow moving car in front. So I think that's Ocon going slowly. I don't know what's going on here. But we've potentially thrown away a race win by just driving clumsily. I'm going to try and go back up the inside of Sebastian Vettel here. The longer Ocon stays in first, the better, because I know I can match his pace. Meanwhile, we've got Vettel on my inside. I'm just going to edge my car in front and get in front of him. We've got Raikkonen, who I think is going slowly. I think Raikkonen might have car troubles. And look at the run we've got here on Alonso. Hamilton and Raikkonen going side by side onto the grass. Oh, very close. Oh, very close. Front wing damage, and we've gone straight on here, and we've had big issues, and we're going to go way down the order. This is not good for us. We've got front wing damage. We're going to have to come in, and I've got severe understeer at the minute, so we're going to have to respond and come in for some changes. Also get my front wing fixed as well. We've just thrown the race down the drain, though. This isn't good for us, and an absolute shame that from that one mistake it's all started from that. But oh well, what you're going to do, we just make sure we get it also down for the pit entry here. We're going to go on to Ultra Softs and just try and do what we can see what we can do. But oh, that's so disappointing. Just trouble everywhere there. And I was going to get through by Raikkonen and Hamilton, but Raikkonen just swung in front of me there and paid the price for it. We are going to get past Sainz, and I think we are just going to get past Ericsson as well. So we're into 15th, but realistically, I don't think I can do anything else this race. So we're just going to try and go as fast as we can here on Ultra Softs. Disappointing, really is. Just it's a real shame. After leading the entire race, it's all just gone wrong in one lap. I'm absolutely flying around the track, fastest lap, and 15 seconds to Nico Hülkenberg. So I think we can catch Nico. He's got damage on his car, and also Raikkonen is going to fall through the field as well. And both of those are going to hold up the cars around them who they're battling. So we've got to keep believing here until the very last lap. Another fastest lap, just about matching my previous one. Hülkenberg just 9 seconds up the road. We are going to catch him. The question is, who else can we catch this race? Another fastest lap, still pushing on here. Hülkenberg just up the road. Okay, here we go, right up and close to Nico Hülkenberg. Purple first sector, rich mix flowing. We should be able to make the move on Hülkenberg here on just raw straight line speed. It's going to be close, but we're just going to try and flow around the outside of Hülkenberg here. And the grip we have is just absolutely phenomenal. 2 tenths up on our fastest lap, and we are still catching cars. You can see cars on the mini-map there. We might still have a chance here. Faster again, another fastest lap, still pushing here and finding time and pace. So many cars on the minimap just up the road, and it's so disappointing. A couple more laps and I definitely would have had a few more positions here and probably would have scored points, but in the end I don't think I'm even going to pass Pascal Verlaine. I think Verlaine is just going to get away with it here unless I can pass him with DRS up to the line. But Ocon wins in Australia and we're going to miss out on points after a mistake of my own doing, and yeah, it all sort of just fell apart. I mean, I'm not that angry about the incident because it was my issue, my mistake at first that, you know, basically forced me into that situation. So I'm not too distressed about it. I'm disappointed that we did throw away a race win. I think I probably would have won that race, realistically speaking, but, you know, you can't win them all, I guess, and hopefully we can, you know, bounce back in the next race, because if this is a season where we want to try and challenge for the World Drivers' Championship, then we need to be on it a little bit more than what we were around there. You know, those sort of mistakes I can't really make, and to be fair, I don't make them that often. I can't remember the last time I genuinely made a mistake like that. But yeah, just got to try and focus and sort of get rid of those mistakes in my game and try and improve. But overall, a disappointing Australian Grand Prix. But we're now going to move into the final race results. Right, looking at the final race results for the first race in Australia, it's a disappointing one for us as we are way down the order in P14, as you can see there on screen. But in terms of other results, Ocon actually managed to pick up the win, even though in no real moment did he really have the pace or dominate the race by any means. But he pulled one out of the bag and has picked up a big 25 points there to start his season off on the right foot. Lewis Hamilton comes home in second with Kimi Raikkonen in P3, then Bottas in fourth, Vettel recovering from P15 on the grid to P5, Fernando Alonso in a brilliant P6 for McLaren there, and Verstappen and Massa in 7th and 8th. My teammates scoring a couple of points there for the team, and Magnussen and Kvyat ran out the points. And in terms of those who DNF today, Stoffel Van Dorn, the home hero Daniel Ricciardo, and Sergio Perez all not being able to finish today's race. And in terms of the driver standings after that race, obviously nothing really to show here, exact same results as the race results. But in terms of the constructors, you can see that we kick off the season with Mercedes leading the way there, and we're currently in P6. So a little bit of work to do, and disappointed I couldn't have added a big fat 25 points to our team total, because that would have put us top of the constructors. But you can't win them all. It's disappointing, but hopefully in the next one we can try and bounce back. I don't think we'll have the pace to win, but if we can just sort of score some good points, then I'd be happy. I'm not expecting many wins this season, to be honest with you, because it's going to be a bit like last season. The development over the winter has been good, but it's not been great because a lot of cars have actually improved quite a lot. So we're still going to have to dig in deep there and really try and improve. So going to the next race, I'm not expecting miracles to happen, but hopefully we can have a solid race. But nonetheless, hopefully you guys have enjoyed this episode of Career Mode. If you have, then please do leave a like on the video. Also, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Let's see if we can try and smash 300 likes for this episode, guys, as a target for today's episode. And also, if you're new around here, then I do urge you to go check out the entire playlist link down below in the description, and also some of the videos on screen if you have missed them by chance. And also, please do check out GT Omega using the code TOM97 for 45% discount at any of your purchases at checkout. But other than that, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you in my next video very, very soon. Goodbye.